approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
Welcome in. We're back. Sorry for the 15-minute delay. Kid decided that he's partying, and then he finally hit a wall. Crazy how that works, right? We're here. Miami's up 1-0. Let's get right into it. Jay Blaze up first. Let's go again. I appreciate you coming in early. So many questions. Trying not to fall asleep. Yeah. I'm not working tomorrow, so big day for me. Is Messi Hallington? Is he Messi? Boy, muscle fatigue just seems like, hey, we're not going to play you against Cavalier, but I think he plays this weekend, and we have a competition where you're not going to get relegated, so that's where I'm playing my Messi. Laird, let's go. Let's go, Jay Blaze, again. Camperske, watching Miami. Nah, he's watching, man, he likes these stupid videos. They're so dumb. It's just like Evan Storm monster trucks. Yeah, I mean, they're not dumb. Kid making videos, good for him. But it's just like so simple, but my kid just loves it. Go Lazo. Nice finish there. Slippery fish. Best part of the week. Let's go. Especially the Thursday ones. I much prefer the Thursdays. That's for sure. Laird, thanks for letting everybody else know here. For me, you got all night. Let's go. Sorry, Danya. I know you're fighting the flu. Yeah, we're here. JJ Lane, what's happening? Jack McGlynn banger. Yeah, Houston off to a horrendous start. Danya sees his tweets now. Yeah. Shaka boom. Let's go. Is Messi alive? He could be. Red or Dead, what's happening? Most of us understand. Jay Blaze. And what's up, guys? Duncan. Nice. We got a good group in here. Appreciate you guys coming in for sure. Always questions as we go. Falcone injury. Not sure if you saw it. I've been so I wasn't watching the game till probably like 10 minutes ago, but I've been following Jarm21's live stream, live tweets of the game. It said, what did he say? I wrote it down. He came off due to discomfort, likely right before halftime. He tried to come out after halftime. So maybe like a muscle discomfort based on the tweets, but I wasn't watching, to be fair. So what I have on the docket in no specific order is go through set pieces through the RotoWire sheet here. I think that's a huge, we have another week of in league, the CCC stuff as well. But we have another, are there anything trending? Are there any guys that could be, a good call? Are there any guys like Zinkernagel who might pop off in the right matchup because he's on all sets? Things like that. Kind of crazy. Just some of the rotation, things like that. David Martinez is smashing his face off. All AA too, right? Dang. It's good to see he's starting though, because he's come back from that injury and I don't think he played a minute. Did he not play a minute? Up until this point. Yeah, he didn't play a single minute up until this point. So that's good he could start right out of the gate. So he is healthy. I was kind of surprised that Aviles did not get the start, but maybe they're saving him for the weekend. I feel like it's just going to be tough with Inter Miami all year here. Peter, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. Good to hear from you. But yeah, so set pieces. I have a few reveals. So at first I was like, yeah, we'll just do a huge reveal. But then I was like, all these terrible cards, no one wants to see. So I kind of saved like 10 to 15 what I deem as my better cards. So we'll do this later. But yeah, get into lineup questions. I said set pieces kind of out of the gate, but let's just quickly go over the crapshoot that it was as far as last week. So, if you're new to the stream, this is in my pinned tweet. You can see how well or how poor I did. We were off to a great start, and then we just hit a rough patch with Vancouver. Vancouver rotated. I think I should have been better on that one. Thinking about it, they have a Canadian rival on the weekend. I guess it makes a lot of sense to rotate, but at the same time, it also didn't because you're probably going after it. They rescued a late draw, which is great for them, but they got to go on the road to Mexico. I just don't rate any of the MLS teams going to Mexico highly. It's tough this early in the season. They're battling against teams that are in form, that have played longer, and they're up against it anyway. But some of the teams, they should have won their match, but they ended up not getting the job done. DC always a good match. Benteke, yeah, it's a Benteke. It should be a Benteke. Weekend, a good matchup, Cincy and DC. Yeah. All the teams that are in CCC have good matchups and are facing possible rotation. So it's an absolute nightmare. It's like the best possible situations for a lot of them. And we have to deal with, are they going to play or they're not, which is brutal. Going to be some DNPs. You hate to do it. But 78% on a CCC, that's fine. LAFC 10 of 11. Giroud not starting. That was a little shocking. I guess we're done with him. But he might start this weekend just based on fixture rotation, things like that. Since he was 10, Columbus 8. They did do 3 rotations out of what I thought they would do. Inter Miami, Messi obviously missed that one. A bummer. I apologize. I played him too. But yeah, that was tough. Vancouver is the one that held us back. Short sample size or small sample size. But that brings us down to 84% on the year. Which is right in the wheelhouse where I want to be. I'm pretty happy with that. If I could finish at 85% this year, that would be a tremendous year for me. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. No reason to stick on there any longer. You can look at that on your own time, and we'll jump into it. Again, if you're new, ask your questions away. I try to catch up with the chat as much as possible. I have severe ADHD, and I just pop around like crazy. Can't help it, but you'll get to know that really quick. Let's present the attack, trying to spread goals. That's about Benteke. Lineup prediction madness goes. Or Deco, let's go. And Giroud on Fraud Watch. Yeah. So, again, this is on RotoWire. So I think in the description here, you get a free trial if you're interested in it. It's for DFS as well, things like that. I've been talking with the Gator guy, Keith, way too much. He got me hooked on DFS. So I've been just literally grinding that like every slate, just playing cash games on there. And I love it. But yeah, it's, if I had any time to give up, like today, I just didn't have any time with lineups and stuff. And I didn't play my first slate for I think a week straight, which is kind of, maybe I have a problem. But either way, let's start with Atlanta and Hatlingen right in here. Could you get some sets back? Yeah, I think there's a possibility. There's not enough ball to go around. We see Saba taking sets. We see Moranchuk. Miggy took only 1 in the last match. Mascara took 1. But it just seems like there's not a lot to go around. But yeah, I bought one. He's a good scorer without the sets. As far as defenders go, he was solid last year. It's just another one of those things. Is there enough of the ball to go around? But I'm not sure if you can get on sets necessarily. But yeah. Prediction on Austin lineup. Yeah, we can jump right into that. So, Sir Inside, link in the description for sure. Use code DEEK10 for 10% off. There's nice tools that Sir Probability throws in here, but that's on Sir Data as well. So that's nothing new here. We'll pop into Sir Data as well. All these great sites that we have here. So Austin is... going to say they should be home and I can't find them. So Austin, here's my thinking. I'm a little higher on Izuni starting just based on 28 minutes off the bench. He should be ready. Unless they do something they're just easing him in. He should be ready. He should be fit. I know he took a little bit of time away. Wolf has been in good form, so I think he stays. So the shuffle would be Izuni up top if they're playing the 4-4-2, where he plays like that left striker, but kind of sags off on the wing as well. Below Vasquez, Bukhari moving over to the right side, which displaces Obrion, and Wolf coming in on the left side where Bukhari was playing. And like I said, Obrion would be the guy that kind of gets out of there. There's just a lot of moving pieces here, but it all hinges on Izuni. The other news that we just got today, Cascante was full training yesterday, and now he got the test back, and it's a hamstring injury. He's out 2 to 5 weeks. So, Cascante at right center back. Svatok I have him 80%. It could be higher. It should be Heinz Ike and Svatok as starters, unless Väisänen somehow gets a start, which would make sense to me. But crazier things will happen. In the midfield, I still like Danny Pereira. And then Illy, he's the captain, so I can't see him getting displaced. I think Savovic is really good. He'll get his starts eventually. I should say really good for this team. Come from Djurgårdens. And yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get his starts. But right now, Illy was named the captain of this team. He's not going to get displaced. And I like Danny Pereira a lot. Maybe I'm higher on Danny Pereira than I should be. But yeah, that's the awesome. Andy Black, let's go. Let's go. Detroit Bad Boy, what's happening? Let's go. We're in here. Shaka Boom, any update on Evander? Absolutely. I'll give you the exact quote that I got earlier from none other than Laurel. She's one of the best as far as beat writers go. Hope to be available Saturday, but we'll be given some extra recovery time. The timeline, he wasn't training. They said there's a pretty good possibility he's not going to train the next 2 days. It is a bone bruise in his back, and they said he could play Saturday, and he wouldn't have to train to be able to play. So they said about managing his minutes, things like that, but he played almost a full 90. He went 87 after going a full 90. So they were pretty, Pat Noonan was pretty, positive about it in his presser. So oh, he wasn't full training yesterday. It was an old video he got us. All right. Yeah, that's what I looked at. I saw the club posted that. I'm like, oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Daily Archives thing. Thank you for that. Yeah, anyone in attack can take sets. Or Jano start and Evander bench. Yeah, I think Evander, so I don't have him in the starting lineup. Cincy is going to be really tough. And the shame is they're in a tremendous matchup. 60% win against Toronto, but who is going to rotate? That is the full question here. And also, I did put the Thursday updates on here. And I even said that I doubt I'll personally play him. There's just no, yeah, he could come off the bench and bang for sure. But I have Kubo at 40% here with 30% on the wing, just because Yedlin was doing some recovery work today as well. Or Jano, I have him at 45%. It was great to see him off the bench. Did we get another goal? Yeah, another goal for Inter Miami. Yeah, I just there's so many risks that like that would be one that, yeah, if he starts, you feel terrible about it. But if he doesn't start or like he just gets a DMP, it's going to bomb a lineup because you're going to put him in a good lineup. Yep. Thank you, Andy. Neo Muscle overload was what he said. So we don't know. I mean, they've been just coy with it. I think he starts this weekend, but yeah, the Beast TN. Yeah, that's kind of what the Messi situation. I think he'll start, but I guess we'll see. JG, what's happening? Good to hear from you. Our glass, let's go. Specialist versus streaks. I'm not a streaker. I haven't streaked yet, but eventually, if it kind of fits, I don't want to like make my lineup worse by playing 5 whenever it's just hard not to play a Messi. Well, right now it's pretty easy, right? Because you just get a DMP, but it's hard not to play. I have 2 Kai Wagner classics. It's just hard not to play those. If he just continues to bang, I got 4th place literally because of him. Like the rest of the lineup was okay. I had some good pieces, but he's been carrying. So that's kind of, I just don't have an in-season one. If I had an in-season one, then yeah, maybe I would, but I don't at the moment. All right, so let's go through some of these teams. Atlanta, I just talked about. So coming into the year, I didn't think Sabo would have this many sets. Let's see. He's been taking the left-sided pretty consistently from, let's see, have I watched both matches? Yeah, I've watched both matches. So every time I've seen it there, Miggy only had one. It's more Moranchuk and Saba with those 2 there. Cincy, Evander, I mean, no shock there, right? He's taking them all in CONCACAF Champions Cup. He was taking them all as well. He's whipping those in very, very well. He's going to get so many assists off this. I mean, you have Denke in there. And then Baird took a couple whenever he was off the pitch. In Columbus, we kind of thought this would be the case, but Chambeau taking 9 compared to Rossi's 3. We thought that coming in, and yeah, that's kind of what happened. Diego smashed the first slate, and then he's been pretty mediocre the last 2. These came off that 3-0 loss, which is pretty brutal. LAFC was just clicking on all cylinders. We see here Charlotte. Westwood's still taking a bunch. Pep Biel and Zaha took 1. Pep in the first match, Zaha in the last. 2 for Westwood, 1 for Zaha. Zaha also took that short corner. So I'm not sure if I'd assume that would be the one that counted, but he took a short corner, just like a quick set play off that. Getting rotation right is going to be tough, especially champion. Yeah, champ is going to be tough as well. Who knows what some of the? It's tough, but it's part of the game. It is annoying, but you got to just kind of basically risk reward. That's kind of all it is. If they can smash and they have a good chance. Interesting. Danya, thanks for coming in. Oh, you're an Austin insider. Okay, you know more than me about Austin, so that's great. About people that follow the clubs know more than me about the clubs. Okay, I'm going to say that all the time. I cover all 30 clubs, basically. A couple of guys do the lineups for them, but I'm covering all of them. So, what is that Aziza Ansari show, Master of None? Maybe I'm that. Peyton, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. Dallas, Lucho. Leggett took 1, the first one, but that's Lucho. Herrera, you love to see it. 7 in the last match. That's what we were expecting in the first match week. And got pretty let down. I wasn't expecting the full out like that. Schnegg taking 3 and Pirani taking 0 last match was surprising to me after taking 2 the first. But Herrera was playing in that right center back role that first match. So kind of crazy. As a Herrera owner, that's kind of what I was hoping would happen. This game week, I think I'm putting Herrera and Benteke in the same lineup because Herrera is 50 and under. Benteke, it would be the 60 plus, which kind of feels weird playing, him instead of Messi. But right now, that just makes the most sense, and I hope they link up. That'd be great. As I kind of teased, Zinc took 8 the last match. He's due to get a decisive for sure. Donnie suspected Herrera from the start. Nice. I was thinking there might be a split. I wasn't expecting nearly what we're seeing here. Ladero is eating into Jack McGlynn a little bit, which it's only a couple, but if he starts, that could be interesting. It might be more of a split, which is going to hinder McGlynn a little bit, but McGlynn's going to get his sets, which it's a better situation than it is in Philly by far. He is still in smash spots regardless of how good the team is, which is really good to see. Denny pretty much taking all of them. David Martinez has taken a few in CONCACAF Champions Cup as well. You got Messi here. Segovia took 2. Alba took 1. Who's there. With Rosales out, Pereira pretty much on all sets. And the big kind of taker from this was Robin Lode started last match and Pereira took all sets. So if you're a Pereira guy, you got to think that he's going to get an assist or something off one of these, right? That's what you really want. I'm a big set piece guy. That's kind of what, I prefer. Guys that are going to get good chances there. Thought and Herrera, because Herrera's a baller and scored a banger for Cameroon. Nice. Yeah, and he scored in the first match too, right? Who would you get rest of season utility spot? Wow, rest of season after 2 matches already. Da Costa, Mihalovic, Ojeda, and Dreyers. I would probably go Ojeda just because he's on, we'll get to him. He's on a situation that is very similar to Da Costa with all of them, Mihalovic, all of them, and then Dreyer with the injury news coming in for Lozano. He's just going to be week to week. It's not a long-term thing, which is good. But Dreyer could get on some sets then now, but just based on, workload, everything like that, I really like Ojeda. Not to say the other guys aren't good. I like DaCosta. I like Mihalovic. And I like Dreyers. I like all those guys. You can't really go wrong, but I think I would lean Ojeda in that situation personally. Montreal is an absolute crapshoot just because they're battling injuries, they're battling a lot of things, and again, they are playing away from home pretty much significantly the first 7-8 matches. So Bryce Duke here at 8-5-3 split with Caden Clark. So when Duke's on the pitch, he takes most. Pierce does get a couple. I was kind of surprised he didn't get any in the last match after getting 2 in the first in just 45 minutes. He does whip in crosses, but that's interesting. Then Nathan Saliba won as well. Carlos Hill, you know the situation in New England. They haven't scored a goal yet. They've been struggling, but he's still on sets. Maybe he's a little dusty. I have 2 of them, so I hope he turns it around. But yeah, it's not looking great in New England after 2 matches. But I'm gonna save my judgment for a little bit longer. Dust in the wind. Nashville. Speaking of teams that haven't scored yet. Sorry for anyone that got a full Nashville collection or something like that, or were really high on Nashville coming into the year because they were a really trendy team coming in. Again, only 2 matches. Maybe they'll turn it around once everyone gets healthy. They need Brugman in that lineup for some progressive passing, some build-up play because they're struggling. 2 guys that I thought had no chance, Corcoran and who's the other guy? It's just Wyatt Mayer or whatever his name is. Yeah, Wyatt Mayer. 2 guys that played in the preseason, but I didn't even think they would make the team. Honestly, I was surprised they got full deals, which is kind of crazy. Speaking of New York City, Maxi Morales taking 5. I thought Hannes Wolf would take more this year. I thought he'd have a bigger role. He's been horrendous to start the year. Thought he'd be better. Red Bulls, Emil Forsberg's the one you want. Omar Valencia took 1 last match. Then you got Ojeda, 9-2 split. The last match, 2-1 with Atuesta. Previous match, 8-0. Something to watch for sure. But yeah, I think Ojeda will take the majority of them. Between the 2, Paslick took 1 as well, but he's just, a third option there. Kai and then Quinn Sullivan taking some. That's nice to see. Quinn has had a great start. All of Philly has had a great start. DaCosta there, 5 the first match, 7 the second match. Just you love to see it. Kind of expected that. I was hoping that, and then he had the late winner, late assist, whatever it was, to have a nice little score there. So he hasn't had a ton of AA, but I think it will go up a little bit. Mihalovic literally taking all of them, all 8. Espinoza taking most. With this weekend, Hernan Lopez being out with a red card, Espinoza is going to be on every single set. He's in a great matchup. If you have him, he's in a smash spot, that's for sure. Meno Garcia and Suleimanov splitting a little bit. 4-4 last match. Suleimanov was taking corners, it looked like, from the brief time I was watching, while Meno Garcia was taking the free kicks. Just from my memory, I could be off on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Memo took 1. And then Seattle. Rusnak's taken every single one, all 13. Seattle, a little bit of split, 5-3 split, Hartle and Leuven. Toronto, it's all Bernardeschi. So even if they're in a bad matchup, he's still probably going to score pretty well just because everything goes through him. Insigne's training, but he's just not part of the picture. Ryan Gauld and Berhalter in a split, 10-8 split. Berhalter has been taking a lot of sets. So that's something to kind of look at. Ryan Gauld hasn't had that AA that he has, but he's in a line for a good matchup against Montreal. Earlier links that they're going to be playing a 17-year-old academy kid at right wing back, but it looks like Marshall Ruddy might be ready to go on that right wing back spot. But if Gauld was playing opposite him, in theory, it doesn't really matter who he's playing across from. He should be in a good matchup at home here. That's the set pieces for the roundup. And again, this is just in league play, and this is on rotowire.com. Very useful tools. And obviously, if you didn't read my article, you should probably check out my article as well today. I put a lot of time into going through every combination of guys that would make sense to use in the in the upcoming competition. So make sure you check that out. They also have anytime goal score odds directly from a sports book. I don't know which sports book these come from, but from a sports book that you can kind of see. The salaries are the MLS fantasy game. I've been dabbling with it just for fun. And I'm probably playing it completely wrong of how you play it. I just dump the entire team and just try and play for profits, but I don't really know how you actually play. So this is my first year of that, but I'm having a little bit of fun with it. And then they got odds report and everything. So that is that. You can hit me with your questions as you're coming in. I'll go through go through the games, things like that. But as we're waiting here, I'm going to bust open some of these. I opened a bunch. I guess I can show a lot of these are just collector pieces. So what would this be under? Card edition, animated. Yes. All about cash money. Okay, so I'm kind of on the right. I'm probably not playing the game right, but that's kind of you do a keeper and buy the 4 million stars. Yeah, makes sense. That's kind of what I've been doing. Just the cheap guys that are starting, and then if they're up 500K, you just keep banking. But here's what I got. A little bit of Nagby. We got some stadiums of Mascara and Parisian. Badwell, rookie. It's a shame you don't get the double. You don't get the double, right? But you got 3 lightning bolts, Bizo and Donovan. It's nice for the Philly collection. Those are just collection pieces. Eventually, I'm gonna buy an in-season Kai, but that's gonna be like later down the line. But yeah, Forster, back-to-back goals. As you can see here, I spent $15 on him. These were all the min buys, so I didn't open any of the big ones. So we can obviously do that here. So can we see the Galaxy predictions? Are we expecting Mikovic to be dropped? I don't. I think, it's a toss-up for sure. To be honest, the Galaxy is a complete crapshoot. So take this for what it's worth, but I don't know. So they have played questionable formations. They've done a little bit of everything. So this is what I went with. If they play the 3-4-2-1, 3-4-3-ish type of thing, here's what I have. But there is just nothing that screams like this is what it's going to be. I do think Mikovic is going to be back in the starting lineup. I think they gave McCarthy the cup, and they'll give the next midweek to him as well. I know Mikovic didn't play well the last match, but I went 60-40 on them. McCarthy played pretty well. He made some key saves, but they lost. So Zanka, I thought he would have started midweek, but he didn't. So you would think on the weekend, based on last weekend, kind of trying to decide what's going on here. Pretty brutal. Peck, you got to assume he starts on 80%, or do they rest him? I know we got some St. Louis boys in here, but if there's a get right game, I don't know if it's here. Just, St. Louis has just been what, 0-0s? I don't know. I will not be watching this match. That's for sure. It's not going to get my screen. Parente has had some good performances off the bench. That's why I went with him starting. Yamani was a grade 1 hamstring, out 10 to 12 days. He's ruled out for the midweek and questionable for the weekend. So I guess there's a possibility, but I'm only 30% on him. John Nelson and Julian Alde started, both of them. Nelson actually played left center back based on Opta and based on his heat map. I can agree with that. That's where he was playing. I even watched the match, and it wasn't always like they were moving around significantly. But I do have Nelson back in the starting lineup there. Fagundes came off the bench. That's why I'm at 90% on him. God, Miguel Berry, again, it's a crapshoot. I would say right now the Galaxy are like my least confident one whenever I'm going through lineups, especially with midweek, especially with injuries. It's just really hard. It was nice. Like Sanabria was pretty much a guaranteed starter. You take him out and it just spreads things around. Steph Fry against Atlanta. Risky. Yeah, but there's upside there. Seattle's a good team, but Oh, to start, and also to start. He should start. He should start. Seattle's another one where I don't feel very confident. Just be like Jesus Ferreira. I really thought he was going to start midweek, and he didn't. So that was kind of shocker as well. Amador back in the starting 11 or still a week or two away. I think it's a toss up for him to start. Ryan Walters our Atlanta guy, and I believe he's around the same. I haven't looked at his. So he has Abrams starting. I would agree with that. It's just hard. He said, and I did see this as well. Lennon will play next week. Amador will likely play this week, but we just don't know if he's going to start. I'm not playing my Amador this week, so I'm going to play the safe route with him. I think he'll probably come off the bench. It just depends how fit he is, but don't really know a ton about him. Cameron had the same question. LAFC. Okay. I was going to say, I didn't think they were playing Atlanta. I could have sworn, but LAFC, yeah, same thing. Let's see. Is Sanabria out months, do you think? Yeah, they gave us, it's a broken collarbone. It wasn't a full break. Pin tweet gives you all the information that I have. Broken collarbone on 3-2. That's at least 6 weeks in my opinion. Do we think Guzan finishes the season as a starter? Oh yeah. I know he looks slow, but it's fine. He's good. I think he finishes as a starter. I know he's looking slower, but he's a gamer. Andres Reyes is hurt. That's why he hasn't been playing. I think he starts over McVay. He's just still not ready to return. It was said today. But yeah, I think he starts. The amount they gave up to get him just screams that he's going to start over McVay. But McVay's been pretty good. Clean sheet in both matches. So it might take a little bit. I'm not the biggest Reyes guy, but Red Bulls loved him late in the season last year. That's for sure. David Obb, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. So without further ado, I have 33, but a lot of them I can't open. This is a free reward, maybe a craft from the Essence I got, I think. Yeah. How about, let's see. I'm going to ask a trivia question. First person to get it gets this card. And you can tell me if you want me to rip it or just send it without being ripped. Question is, first correct answer gets this. So don't answer if you don't want this card. And if no one answers, I'll just rip it. But we'll go with my question being, who did the Philadelphia Union sign to be their likely one of their new strikers this season? Last name's good. First person to say it, you get the card. Ronan, what's happening? It was good. I got 4th in season. So that's good. Cameron, I got you as first in my chat. Franco, you just missed. It was like the same time, but on my side, it looks like Cameron, you are my guy. Oh, my boy CJ Fodry. Sorry. So Cameron, in the chat, just say what your club name is, and I will send this over to you. I'll let you rip it to give you a little fun there. So let's put back. Cooking for sure, yeah. I think it was $125. So I still got a lot to go, but yeah, pretty happy about that. I don't know what we did there. Berkey Dirk, you got it, bud. Oh, Rebs, let's go. All right. You don't accept card trades. Dang. So Your call. You could either toggle it for me, or we can just go to the next person. Your call, Cameron. Whatever you think. Oh yeah, the ROI was non-existent. I'm doing this for fun. ROI. I mean, it's kind of stupid to like think of it like that, but I never expect to get the ROI out of it. It's just I want to play the game with the cards that I want to have, and I sold up Europe to do it. Yeah. All right, all good. I'll refresh and get it back to you. Just gotta refresh the page probably. But yeah, prices were going to go down. You know, it's just hype first game week, but you are playing against less people, which is nice. But it's more just me having fun than anything. All right. Yeah, before everything get kicked off for you. Yeah. Just gotta make sure my stuff's not on screen. Not that I don't trust you guys, but all right. All right, we're back. I sent it. I can verify it for you. An offer's been sent. Yeah, sir. Thanks for everyone for doing it. I just spur of the moment thing. Maybe I'll do that anytime I win. You know, limiteds. I don't play limiteds, but I'm playing in the limited competitions whenever I have extra teams, just because, and I'm getting some essence. I think I'm 5 away from another one. So guarantee negative DS. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. All right, so I'm gonna rip some of these. You have to accept this still. So I won't rip that for you. You enjoy that. Hopefully it's a special edition. 32, but a bunch of them can't be opened yet. So let's have some fun. No dice. I love that goalkeeper kit. If you have questions during this, again, I'm just going to kind of fly through these just to see if we get anything cool. Looks like you accept the offer. Attaboy. Special edition dust card. Nice. Hollow pulls. Are they only limited? I'm pretty sure hollows are only limited, right? Peter, this is a good question. Either Evander or Hartle, probably, I would say, is the ones that I would like, or this Benteke. I think those are the three. Benteke's right up your woods. I would like any of those. Based on my collection scores, the few points. So basically my strategy is to get to like 3% collection score on most of these. I'm on 4 for a few, and like New England, I'm probably going to be on 5, which is a terrible collection to have, but here we are right now. Ooh, Zaha and Lozano. Nice. Those are nice. Flashback to Akite. Yeah. Make sure you read one of my messages before opening Evander. Yes, you were here for that. That was tremendous. So I would like this Benteke. That's all right. That one wasn't us. I don't want it to be this one. All right. I don't know. Just the goalie ones are just different. There's the Amador that I was saying about. I guess it'd be cool. Oh, Orjano. Let's go. Love to hear that. Sweet. I was kind of hoping the Atlanta ones look smooth with the red on red. Oh, man. I was really hoping that one. Shimbo's to be cool. Honestly, any of these would be fun. You like good player? Anderson Julio, Franco. He's actually in decent form. Crepeau and Pablo Ruiz. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I hit several, but like I opened probably close to 100, just like collection pieces. So I have hit a few. Okay, we're gonna save the best for last. Forsberg, I guess red on red would be kind of cool. Boy, they should put like like his wife and his family behind here, like fading. That'd be like a pretty cool little like a hollow, but they just disappear kind of thing for Forsberg. Alba Suarez, Allende, Redondo all played full 90. We think they start alongside. Um, Based on like the rotations that they've done, I mean, Suarez, he just plays every match. I think him and Alba probably all right. Redondo has been rotating in decent amounts, so I'll have to look at it, but maybe that. Maybe that. Um, can we speak into existence? Wolf getting benched so Danny Brewer can get more corners. Yeah. Like Back to the Future photo. Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Vander, yeah, we talked about him, but yeah, I can talk about it again. He's probably not going to train the next 2 days, but that doesn't mean he won't play this weekend. He has a bone bruise in his back, and he's probably fine. But with the midweek coming up, I think they'll probably rest him, in my opinion. But I don't know. Tinder bio. That's funny. Oh yeah, when's the next Sorare After Dark? Can't wait for chat roulette on there. Jimmer special. Yeah, I think they both start this week, but um, yeah. Moranchuk again, another Atlanta one that would be cool. So go ahead. Okay, that would have been a cool one. I guess less cool one, but would help my collection score without getting more Cincy pieces. So a win would be a win. Okay, I like that. I like that Picasso. That's cool. Sweet. I don't think I got one of these. I like how that like goes through there. That's pretty sharp looking. I would have liked like an Atlanta one. An Atlanta one would have been a lot cooler. Um, DC goalkeeper, yeah, Kim. Good shout with Herrera and Benteke in one. Yeah, if you're gonna play Herrera, I mean, you could play goalie, defender. You could play him without streamer like streamer luck. Yeah, um, yeah. I like Engel. He could have so many assists already, but yeah. Um, Yeah, I was thinking that too because Black. It seemed like he was ahead of me in like last year. I'd always see him just like one spot ahead of me. So yeah, I like that. That's really cool. I'm a sucker for these for sure. What do we got left? Hartle, Schulte. Okay, we have a few more. That was one I kind of would have wanted, but like the pink might have looked a little wonky. Not that it matters, but it would have been cool. Schulte, sure. That's fine. Let's just make sure we get our Vander, and then I'll be happy. Oh, a little bit of a Vander and Engel to get that collection score up. I'd be ecstatic. Okay, no Pulse Camp. Yaboa. A new. and Evander, right? Last one. Yeah, last one. All right. I would be very happy with it here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. Huh, disappointing. Oh well. So what does that do for a little bit of collection action here? Got like 20 of their cards, but only you didn't get one Timber outfielder. Dang. What do you think the two best MLS keepers? I think it's matchup based. Right now, Lloris is playing tremendous, but he's not seeing any shots either. So it's like clean sheet or 35. Yeah. He does look horrible in that kit. You're right on that. So well, I'll just show you my collections and just, the stupidity that I was doing and other things. So, yeah, New England Revs are going to have 5% on them for some reason. What am I doing? Philly, I said I wasn't going to do the collection, but I just picked up a few pieces and kind of boosted some guys. And like I said, I'm going to get a Kai later. Just, a few, a few later. DC, I was boosting my Benteke. The idea was their early schedule was really soft, and I wanted to have that differential on him and Herrera. So I got the one of for Herrera as well. Sporting Kansas City, I just wanted to boost my goalie because I felt like, goalie, if you can get a few extra points, if you get him on 3%, that's great because I knew there's a couple rookie cards there. Minnesota boosting my Yeboah and Pereira. Red Bulls boosting Forsberg. Columbus boosting my Schulte, as well as Chambos, 3%. Again, that was my idea. Get Evander. And I had Engel as well. So just getting 3% extra on them. Felt like with the new XP system, I didn't really know how it worked. So maybe that would. New York City, I don't know what I was doing. I started doing something there and then I pulled the plug. But I've been flipping some cards and I've made a little bit of profit off New York City just because I thought some of them would have been rookie cards and they weren't. So that was on me. Vancouver, eventually thought about buying Gald, but right now, I had Adekugbe, he got hurt. Rapids, I was going to buy Mihalovic, but he was too much. St. Louis boosting Hartle. Atlanta, Amador, yeah. And again, as we get down here, Barossa I bought today, but I was going to get a Zinc in season. It was just kind of waiting for prices. So some of them I am going to buy. It's just, that was my thinking coming into the year. Yeah, it is what it is. Dinky hat trick. Yeah, it's wild stuff. That's so stupid. Yeah, I got way too much there. I thought, we'll boost Hill. Their attacks can be different this year. And it wasn't. Yeah, it's silly. It's a little silly for sure. All right, that's enough of my own stuff. Let's get to a breakdown of this week. Just my thoughts, my theories, my bad takes, my good takes, and everything in between. So I'm going to go through each match and kind of give a little bit. Oh, not K-League. Let's not do that. Give a little bit of a rundown of what I think. And if you want to know what players I think will do well or are, relatively good ideas for the specials competition on RotoWire. It's also, I tweeted it out. Click on that link. I put way too much time into that. But yeah, if you could give that a read, that would be tremendous for me. Just basically broke it down by the stipulations that you need, the roster construction that you need, and kind of went through what I would do, what I am going to do to kind of go through that. So you can kind of see there the mids that I like. I didn't really like the 60 plus mids, like the ones that are in the 51 to 59, right? There's some great ones in there. So like you honestly don't have to play a 60 plus if you don't want to. I'm personally playing my Benteke, and I'll probably play Messi in my other lineup because if he doesn't play, he doesn't play. You just can't play him in seasons right now, in season. So starting off with the An interesting one, Atlanta versus the Red Bulls. It'll be interesting to see how the Atlanta attack bounces back after playing a Charlotte team that was, defensively strong. The Red Bulls team is defensively strong as well. Pretty sound on defense. As you can see there, 47% to 32%. I just like the Atlanta attack. I do. I think they will bounce back in a way. And as they get more comfortable with each other, they're going to mesh more. And it's kind of like the same thing with Cincy. They just aren't in, great form yet. But I think as the season goes on, these teams are going to gel together. So read it already. Glad my picks were in the article. Good. I'm glad they made them. But I do think Atlanta can get out of there with 3 points. I think it'll be a growing process, and I'd lean them, but that'll be a fun game as far as I like watching Atlanta play. Real Salt Lake with the surprise of last weekend. Playing San Diego, who hasn't conceded yet. So this will be an interesting test, kind of our RSL for real. They have a full week of rest now. I talked about in my article about Diego Gonzalez. I know Laird is huge on him. He beat the rush to his price, which is great. But he's on sets. He's a good option, and he fits that under the 50 and under rule. So he's really solid. His price has caught up. I haven't looked at the rare side. I actually was just looking at limited earlier. What are the rares looking like now? Yeah, they had that spike, obviously. SR Monkey, what's happening? Yeah, so it rose. What was it down to? It's going for like 32. Yeah. But yeah, that's just, look at his AA. In his 3 starts, 25 plus AA every time. He looks great. And only 1 decisive there. So, he keeps getting decisives. He's scoring in the 80s, like I said in my article. But yeah, that's a guy that's interesting in this matchup. Diego Luna, playing with the mask, it seems like it's hindering him a little bit. Pablo Ruiz, I thought he was going to start last weekend. He didn't, which was a little bit surprising, but it seems like he's back to maybe a bench role, and it was like a rotation start. It's just tough to see who he would displace in the starting lineup at this point, but he'll get his chances. They're 51%. San Diego is 29%. No Lozano, which would be interesting. I do think San Diego concedes their first goal of the season, but I don't know if Real Salt Lake can win. I think it could be a draw. I think it could be. Camperskay, first number 1 defender is going to be Kai, even though he's on the road. It's New England. He's going to be my first one. And top goalkeeper. Top goalie. So I would say Stuver, but I'm not going to say Stuver because the AA isn't there right now. I like Schulte just because the saves are there, and he does have a chance to get a clean sheet, but there could be rotation. Outside of that, Daniel is a really good shout. Minnesota only has 1 goal in 2 matches. I know it's a 27%, but yeah, he's interesting. Pies is interesting. Obviously you look at home goalies, but guys that can probably rack up some AA too. Those guys are all good options. Like I said, article went into everybody that I rate this weekend. I said before that I'm big on Benteke, big on Herrera, and big on DC against Sporting Kansas City. Alex's boys, I'm sorry. They look better. They're in the matches, but I really think that DC, they did crawl back and had that bicycle kick by Muriel. But, Benteke missing that pen. They're kind of all over the place. Chris Brady played pretty darn well. But, these are kind of those matches that you think that they could win. And this one will be really indicative of what kind of season they have, because 52% win percentage, in theory, they should win this match. 1.7 XG. I do think Benteke gets in on a goal. I'm hoping at least. So, yeah. Just Heat, what's happening? I haven't mentioned it yet. So, based on how my gallery looks, I might be playing my top lineup in in-season D1 because I don't think my lineup is like as OP as you could make it as far as the specials competition. And that's not saying that I'm not going to play it. I'm still going to play it pretty heavily, but I think my first choice team is going to go in D1 because I think a lot of people are playing the other comp. When the top prize is the same, it's just there's a better payout down the stretch. So like, fifth place is better on there, but if you win it, it's the same amount. So I am going to go for the win, but I think only my top lineup I'm going to go in season, and then I'll probably do 3 of the specialists and then back to in season, most likely. Which of these mids will you pick as your first choice? Shambos, Moranchuk, or Hani? So with Nashville, I just can't trust them yet. Yes, they're in a better matchup for sure. I need to see something for him before I feel good about it. Shambos, in theory, he could rotate with the midweek. Moranchuk's probably the safest play. I know he hasn't been crazy good, but he could easily get a decisive. He had some nice passes where they should have scored. I would probably lean, based on how safe you want to be, probably go Moranchuk first, Hani second, Shambos third, because just if Shambos kills your lineup because he rotates, that would just be brutal. And it's just with the congested fixtures, but at the same time, they lost 3-0 in the first leg. So maybe everybody just rests the second and they play a key lineup here. So that's kind of tough. So what you're thinking to focus on a few D1 lineups and then go to special affiliate. Yeah, it's exactly what I did. One strong in season to try and streak, and then specialist for the rest. Yeah. So maybe that is the popular play, and then maybe I need to do the other thing. But yeah, I think it makes sense. Oh yeah, I like Miggy better as well. But out of the people that he gave me, I do like Miggy a lot. He's due to get a decisive, like to score. He should have scored last match. He had several chances, but just couldn't get it done. Strongest turns into the worst of the weekend. Yeah, that happens. I've been playing Messi in my strongest, so that's been happening every week. I'm sure you might be in the same boat, maybe there. New York City FC against Orlando. So a couple things that came out of training today. They're going to be without Tavon Gray. He had pain in his right leg after 8 minutes. He's rolled out. Andres Pereira rolled out. I didn't really see anything why, but he's rolled out as well. And then Tanasiewicz injured after 75 minutes. He's questionable. And Burke Risa came up on the presser today as having an illness and wasn't training. So they could maybe have Hawk come back as a center back there. Martins is coming back from injury, but he might be – I think he was going to start anyway, but he might be forced to start. I think I know he's like either Adrian Martinez or Alonso Martinez, depending on what site you look at or what commentator you hear from. But I think he's the only playable guy unless you're like hoping for some set pieces and then a lucky assist from Morales. Keaton Park, okay, AA, but you don't really want any piece of this New York City team at the moment. I'm sure if Jay Blaze is still in here, he might say something similar. Or I could be wrong. But yeah, I don't rate them that highly, but Orlando's been going through it a little bit. It looks stronger over the weekend. But again, home field advantage is huge. They're playing on a smaller pitch. Shrink it down a little bit. I think that's going to be a draw. I'm going to go draw. Maybe Orlando City double chance would be an interesting bet. We'll see. Jay Blaze is here. All right. Alonso Martinez is about it. All right. I'd like to hear that. Well, as much. Colorado, they are projected to 0.9 XG, which you hate to see that. I believe the only other one I saw was 0.8 for Montreal, which was worse. Yeah, Austin. on paper should win this match. I like what they've done in the offseason. A lot of good things. Colorado are back to, not having a midweek, which is very beneficial because they have some injuries on the back line. Injuries kind of hurting them a little bit. Navarro played really well last match. He got on the board. Halovic is a good player. It's just, I don't know. They have a lot of open kind of holes, in my opinion, especially going on the road. I think they're going to struggle. Stuver is a great keeper. He's definitely in line to have a save or have a clean sheet. But I read in my article there, and as Arglass says, not much XG conceded. Yeah, they're barely giving up anything. So as good as Stuver was last year, based on AA alone, he's not getting that this year, which is good for the clean sheet odds, but it's not as good for everything else. Server scoring, you want a little bit of action, saves from inside the box. Like Schulte, if he didn't concede 3 in the midweek, I think he had 5 saves inside the box. So that's kind of crazy there. Yeah, these are sportsbook odds. I'm like 90% sure they're taken from sportsbooks. They're just like the implied odds from breaking those down. Higher ceiling this week: St. Clair at San Jose or Pantemis at Nashville. I would go St. Clair. He has a high upside because San Jose attack. There's talk on, who's going to start over Hernan Lopez. I lean to Sikaris. It could also be Buda could start maybe on the right side, and then they switch some things around a little bit. He's an impact guy off the bench, but I think St. Clair is going to be busy, and I think he has a good chance of putting up a nice score as long as he doesn't concede 3 against San Jose. San Jose's attack is prolific. They put up shots. Pantemis against Nashville. Nashville hasn't scored. Pantemis coming off a clean sheet, but I don't know if he's going to have enough action. He could. But Nashville's offense isn't clicking yet, so maybe that's a good thing for the clean sheet, but not for the AA. But I would go St. Clair this week, in my opinion. But San Jose, Chico Aranjo, kind of, he had the injury, Opta injury. I watched it. He was completely fine. Like, he got fouled. He was completely fine. Like, no issues. Complaining about a call. He gets the call, and then he just sat down like, oh, and then he made the sub. It was weird. So I don't think he's hurt, to be honest. All we have from it, we don't have any training pictures or anything like that. We have I believe it was an Instagram post of him running, like on a trail or something like that, that he posted. I think it was either today or yesterday. So I don't know if that was an old picture but that's all I'm going on off of that. I think he should be fine, but you would like to get some information. Sadly, I watched the post-game presser. Bruce Arena said nothing about him, nothing about the injury. I watched a podcast, an hour-long podcast. I did the Gator Guy method of 2x speed, and it was really hard to comprehend, but they didn't say anything from that as well. But yeah. Daniel, what's happening? Yeah, dupe. Maybe with MLS being so weird, they'll lose to New England this weekend. Something weird. Yeah, no problem, Jay Blaze. That takes us into the New England's favor, just barely. But like, it would be so MLS if New England, they're at home, they can't score, they can't do anything, and then Andre Blake doesn't look very good. So Philly's going to have to keep scoring 4 goals a game because, he's botched several. It's kind of concerning, but yeah, that's for sure. I haven't gotten a further update. I saw the same thing. And he had that error led to goal as well. And I wasn't sure if that played into it as well, but yeah, I'm wondering if we maybe see Zawadzki on that back line, and then maybe like a guy like Derek Jones in the midfield, or Taha Habrun coming in since he played 45 minutes. Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. I just saw the quotes from the presser from one of the beat writers tweeting it, and it's just talking in circles. That's tough. especially when they have the midweek, although they're down 3-0, which kind of plays into it as well. I don't know. That's pretty tough. FC Cincinnati, depends who they play. You have to think they'll do well against Toronto. 60% to win, almost 2xG. They're in a good spot. Vancouver, you got to think they take care of business against Montreal. This is a rivalry, Canadian rivals. You would think with the rotation, like Kubas, several other players rotated in the midweek for this match. So you would have to think they go really all after it. But yeah, you got to like Vancouver. That's for sure. This this weekend, Seattle LAFC might be the match of the weekend. Seattle coming off that loss against Real Salt Lake. They did play midweek. Both teams did play midweek. LAFC ran Columbus out of the building. Seattle struggled a little bit, but I will highlight them because there's a lot of uncertainty for me. I just don't know what they're doing. So they did draw Cruz Azul. Again, De La Vega came off for Jesus Ferreira. Jesus Ferreira played on the right side whenever he came in, with Rusnak still on the pitch whenever Rusnak came off. They switched, and Minungu was the guy that came in. The rotation, I thought it was like, okay, they're doing this, but they didn't rotate. So this weekend, this is a big matchup in the West. I know it's early, but this is a big matchup in two teams that could be the 1 and 2 seed. By all means, they very well could be the top two teams in the West. This could be you look back at it, this is a 3 points that secured it. But again, I think they're looking at the longer picture. You might see a couple guys rotate. Yemar has played every single match. I thought he could have possibly rotated midweek, but he did not. You would have to think that they play a pretty strong lineup. LAFC, same kind of thing, maybe a couple rotations. But yeah, not what you want to see as a prediction, but I have 70% for Rusnak, 65% for De La Vega, 65% for Ferreira. Jordan Morris hasn't rotated yet. It just feels like Jordan Morris should rotate eventually. But again, I don't have anything to back this up. It's like you just kind of hate it because you haven't heard any Smetzer's comments. You haven't heard anything. It's a quick turnaround. It's just difficult. So if you are like me and you have like a Jesus Ferreira, where are you going to play him? Number one. And number two, is his role big enough right now to even feel comfortable playing him, even if he was a lock to start? So he could, by chance, start over Morris, but don't feel great about Seattle as far as predicting their lineup. Speaking of which, we already talked about the Galaxy, but 62%. I don't know about that. That really seems like a St. Louis, maybe. You would have to think that they're probably plus 0.5 on, so them to win or draw. I'd probably plus money based on that. Probably plus money. Close, at least. That might be a bet that I'll be making, but at the same time, it's St. Louis, who hasn't looked great. But the Galaxy, man, I don't know. I just don't know. Especially whenever they're coming back from Costa Rica. Herediano beat them after beating Real Salt Lake. Yeah, I'll put my life savings. Yeah, this is not financial advice. No one no one do this. Barry 100. It's not Barry season. It'll never be Barry season. Barry is one of the worst footballers I've seen, and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of really bad players in MLS. Yeah, they look great defensively. That's why I just don't know if the Galaxy can score on them. That's why, I mean, it might be a 0-0 draw. It's just kind of, it's not the same Galaxy team. We've been saying it, but yeah, the defense looks good. They just look off a step. That's for sure. Another one that's low key, it could be interesting is San Jose. He is a former Crew player. He's played for every team, right? Miguel Berry. I just hate that guy. I don't hate him. I just don't like watching him play. Peter says so bad at DC. It's like, I think everyone in the chat could be like, he was so bad in Atlanta. He was so bad. And like he's been so bad in so many different places. Poor guy. But San Jose, I mean, what can you say? Bruce Arena getting it done. very interesting matchup against Minnesota, who's they're my dark horse at the beginning of the year. I think they have a lot of good pieces. Yeah, I think they're in for could be a tough matchup, but I think Dane Sinclair could be pretty busy, and if he plays well, I think he's going to score well. They really need that front two combo to start getting and actually scoring goals. They're setting up goals. They've just struggled to score. Yeboah got on the board late in the last match, but Tani has had some chances. Yeboah has had some chances. They just need to start burying some chances. So until they start doing that, I don't know if that would be a bet that I would make, but I think they'll be in that match. Nashville, another team that hasn't scored yet, playing Portland, who did have a horrendous first match, but Kamal Miller red card. They have been training. We did get some information from training. The back line of Ian Smith, McGraw, and Sermon were training together in an 11-on-11 like simulated thing. So leaning that that's going to be the same group after that clean sheet. That means that Kamal Miller is at 40% here to start. So, I think as the season goes on, but that red card crushed the team. So I think he's trying to make a statement that, you're going to ride the bench maybe for a match. Maybe that's what happened to Avalos after him getting his red card. But yeah, Neville terrorism again. Yeah, it's just, me just going back to the well and just believing pressers. Eileen Chara, just as I think they're going to rotate him and Ortiz whenever they only play two central midfielders here, just because he is that veteran presence that still can do it a little bit. He's getting older, that's for sure. But Ayala, I really like Ayala. Jimmer Flore, they really like him. And Lassiter started last match. I think he will, if they play the same 3-4-3. He's like the only guy that makes sense there, unless they go two strikers and they slide Pereira into the central midfield, which is very possible as well. Yeah. I'm following what the doctors say, and he's tired. We also have to learn to play without him. Yeah. My gosh. That's absolutely wild. Ayala is a hidden gem, that's for sure. Play Gazdag or Espinoza. Espinoza, and it's not even close. For me, Espinoza, not even close. I know Gazdag's been really good, but Espinoza with Hernan Lopez being out is going to take every single set piece that they have. So I think that combined with him being at home, and you got to think they score at least 2 goals, and I think he's going to be on one of them. I'm really high on Espinoza. I don't have one. I'm really high on him this week. So it's not a lean for me. So whenever Gazdag scores 100 and Espinoza scores 30, I apologize, but that's just how I feel this week. Yeah, I think Ayala is going to be a guy that gets a move as long as he stays healthy. You feel bad for him because he's had 2 major injuries that really just set him back a little bit, but he's still young and still has a great chance. But Portland has so many injuries right now. I'm interested to see what they look like whenever they do have everyone, because they are still missing key pieces. Jonathan Rodriguez, he's a starter. Zuparik was a starter at the tail end of last season. Juan Mascara is a starter. Santi Moreno is the starter. They're missing all these guys. I think that they could be a surprisingly solid team. I'm not saying they're going to win the West, but I think they could sneak into, maybe out of the wild card, maybe a 7, 6, maybe even a 5 seed. I think there's a lot of parity in the West through several teams. Speaking of parity in the West, FC Dallas, Peter Musa is on fire. He comes into a great matchup. Chicago, I'll highlight them just because they've had some serious injury issues where they've had to play guys they don't want to play. Carlos Terron can't stay healthy. He got hurt in warmups last match. Mueller's away with the baby, but he doesn't really factor in. Haile Selassie, he's been back in training on Wednesday. Barroso's back in training. He can make his appearance. Boy, I'd love to see him start, but I think he's going to come off the bench first. I like his profile from the small bit. I was talking to German about him as well. I did pick him up. his instant buy for like $14, and I was like late to the party. But yeah, that's tough. Gutierrez was suspended after the fact. He's back after having a great first match. I really think, and I haven't bought in him yet. I'm kind of waiting for hopefully, prices keep coming down a little bit. I do have a Bamba, but I think Zinc, since he's on every single set piece so far this year, he's bound to start scoring pretty well. But again, it's like that first year you struggle at the beginning with some teams, or some players just struggle at the beginning. But yeah, Lucho, he should have a day. It's a really good matchup for Dallas guys. Daniel, you're going to be there. Love it. That's awesome. Good for you. FBL, what's happening? Pretty good. Can't complain. Just going through here. I appreciate everybody in here watching, man. We got 37 on YouTube and Twitch, it looks like. Still rolling with me. I really appreciate that. If you like the stream, I don't know what it does, but other people say it, so it has to be a good thing. And I appreciate everyone watching after the fact too, because I don't know how soon it'll be, but based on just like the numbers, I haven't done a lot of YouTube, and like I'm kind of getting back into, I just want to stream. I don't want to make the videos like Harry does that. Harry trades. He's great at it. I'll just watch his because like my production value is just nowhere near. I'll talk about MLS in like a nonchalant, like this kind of atmosphere all day, but it just the short kind of content just isn't for me. I just was taking up too much of my time, and I was honestly not putting out good enough videos to get views. So I like the streaming, and I guess I'm like, I don't know how it works, but the affiliate program on YouTube, I'm only like a little bit of watch time away from it, and I can apply for that. So maybe I can get, a little bit of monetization off of it. Any little bit helps just for my time and everything. But in all honesty, if I got $0 from doing this, I enjoy these Monday and Thursday streams just because I get to talk about MLS. I get to chat with you guys in chat. I mean, there's so many good people in the MLS community, number one. And number two, it's fun just kind of hanging out. So I like it. So we're in the States too, which is great. That's like early enough where I can catch a little bit of it. I wish I could catch the whole thing, but I like to pop in there. If you don't watch them, you need to be. Some good guys over there as well. Then you got the Sorare data shows. Watch those every day. I wish I could catch them live, but I don't. I watch them after the fact, but it's just, there's so much good content. I said about Harry's videos, like there's just so much good content out there that you never run out of content, honestly, every single day. Leave the stream on. I won't, because I'll forget, and like I'm gone. I'm traveling this weekend, so I would forget, leave it on all weekend, but my computer will just blow up or something. How do you think the Seattle matchup is, since they played most of the first team in CONCACAF? Yeah, I just talked about that so a little bit ago, but since you're asking live, yeah, there could be some rotation. Jesus Ferreira hasn't played in the last two. You would think he does, but I don't have a good feeling on that at all. So I don't have a good read on Seattle with all the congestion. It's a really difficult situation. They're in a tough matchup against LAFC. You would think they would want to have a pretty solid team. LAFC won 3-0 in their midweek. Maybe they rest a little bit, on the trip back to Columbus. Seattle drew with Cruz Azul. They need to go to Mexico in the midweek and win. So there's a lot of just kind of question marks between those two. That's for sure. Has David Martinez took Aviles' place? Well, David Martinez plays on the left and Aviles plays strictly on the right. So I wouldn't say it's a direct replacement. Aviles, he's going to start. They just have several options that they've been rotating. Like Falcone just got hurt, but he's an option there. They just have a lot of center back options. David Martinez last year was a key starter. But yeah, Ian Frey, him having to play right back, but then you have Lujan or Lujan, whatever it is. However you say it, he's been playing right center back, but he's also a right back. He can play right back as well. So that's interesting as well. Flu hitting the fam hard, man. I'm sorry to hear that. The flu was brutal. My family had it like week and a half, 2 weeks ago, last week even. Boy, it just runs through. So hope you feel better. Hope the fan feels better. And eventually everyone get back. MLS is a center back. Yeah. Left central and right central is what I was saying. Like David Martinez plays left center back and MLS plays right center back. That's what I was talking about. And then I said Frey plays right back, and then Lujan plays right back. So that was kind of just the other things involved there. All right, last couple games. So I never gave a prediction on Dallas. I think Dallas is going to win that match. 56% to win. So Chicago has shown signs of life, but we're still having the same issues with not being able to close out matches, things like that. The late equalizer. Brady played so well too. You hate to see it, but your family just got over it too. Man, it's run rampant everywhere. Crew versus Dynamo. This is going to be interesting because the Crew coming off a 3-0 loss against LAFC, and they're playing a Houston team that has been really struggling. They're reeling. Crew 55%. Just to kind of put it in perspective, I think that 55%, in my opinion, is just because the possibility of rotation. But, Houston, I know recency bias, both matches at home did not look good. McGlynn's the only one who scored well Sorare-wise. Everyone else kind of pretty weak there. Mikael is a big lost center back that they haven't replaced as far as guys that can start. I am interested to see about Felipe Andrade. He has not played with the team yet, but he's coming in on a loan to buy. He should start with Sviatchenko eventually, but they have been playing Femi Awodesu in both. He looked pretty sharp in the first match. Second match, not as much, but they did concede 4. So I don't know if he's a long-term option. I believe he was elevated from Houston 2 last year. So it's not a guy that it's like, yeah, he can just step in and be Mikael. It's a little bit difficult there. But I do think Crew will bounce back. They do have like 3 guys who rotated, guys like Russell Rowe, Arvston, and Farsi were the 3 guys that rotated. So they'll be fresh. And I do think they will win. And last up, Inter Miami versus Charlotte. 69% seems high. Inter Miami are the biggest favorites. I just don't believe that they should be that big of favorites. I know that Charlotte is better at home, but their defense is good. It's just a question mark of, is Messi going to play? What are they going to look like? Midweek, next midweek, you would think there's going to be some rotation. Like, okay, Messi is a question mark this weekend. There is 0 chance he is flying to Jamaica to play. I know it's not that far of a trip from Miami to Jamaica. I know, but there's just no way, right? If he's having muscle fatigue now. So that's why I'm like talking. I might be just talking myself into it, but that's why I'm just like kind of talking myself into that Messi's going to play this weekend with this muscle fatigue or whatever you want to call it. He'll play this weekend, not play the midweek. I don't know. That makes sense to me, but none of the situations make sense. So that's the slate. My kind of 2 cents on each match. That'll probably be wrong, but that's the slate. If you are a Sorare Inside member, I'll update. I know it says 4 days ago. I'll update Inter Miami here after I hop off and kind of update what I saw there. Again, it's going to be tough with the amount of rotation that they've been doing to see who's going to start. And I don't have a lot of confidence to be able to predict that. But I will try my best and I will give you the percents of what I'm actually seeing there. Jay Blaze, thanks for stopping in, man. First in, I appreciate you for sure. And we will see you most likely on Monday. Yeah, I don't have a lot more, honestly. The only kind of other things that I was thinking that I could possibly do, just a quick kind of walking you through my thinking of the specialist competition. This is going to be it's not probably going to be what I rotate because I'm probably going to play in season 1, like I said. But the specialist, I just want to kind of go into my thinking, and my article kind of said a little bit. Thanks for coming in, Neil. But I think that you almost have to play like the goalkeepers that are above like 51 and above. You just can't play in this competition. It just doesn't make sense. You got to use one of those spots on your goalkeeper just because goalkeeper is such a crapshoot. So my Schulte is going to get that spot. So that's kind of my thinking. I just, some of the good goalies are high and you just doesn't really make sense. Daniel, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Usually my articles take like, I don't sit down and write them the whole time. I kind of like bounce around. I'll do like a position group, come back to it. But like this one took way longer than my other ones. That's why I came out a little bit longer. So shout out to Adam for editing it way after he normally does. It's usually like he has to edit it around like noon, but this one was, I don't know, it's almost like 4 o'clock. So appreciate that. So that's number one. The second thing that kind of goes into this, will Lucas Engel play? That is my question. If he does, he has the upside in this. Like, my thinking is, okay, I don't have to worry about getting relegated. I want the upside of a guy that can probably outscore several players, and he fits this criteria. So if I play Engel, he's sub 50 or below. He fits that. I already knocked those both off. And then I can basically just pick whoever I want. And this lineup almost turns into my top lineup, you know, just based on this could have been my top lineup. The other option is Aaron Herrera, which he's not up here. There he is. But he's in that middle group. So then I would have to go down a little bit lower on someone else. And just kind of thinking it based on MLS, if you're not going up to like Kai as you're like 60 plus, that would be like a differential play for sure. But if you're not going up to that, it just kind of doesn't make sense unless there's a nice spot that's sub 50 or below at midfield and at forward. So I'm not going to put anybody in here, but that's kind of like my conundrum between the two. Think of that. Hatlingen, thoughts on Jaden Nelson? No reason to risk him. Yeah, just no reason to risk him. There are positives, though. He felt something. It just felt tight. No pull or anything like that, which is great news. But he tried to come out, and Jesper just decided to, you know, it's not worth it. Sub him. It was, 5 minutes? Subbed him out. In theory, he could definitely start this weekend, but I think he'll play next midweek. And with Ali Ahmed playing really well, honestly, I mean, he held his own. He filled in really well. I think they'll give him another start, let him rest, and kind of go from there. But again, he could start. By all means, he could start, but I don't know. Aaron, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Musa versus Benteke is, yeah, both will work. You know, Musa coming in, goal and assist in each, you know, that's kind of crazy. Can he keep that up? It's a matchup where he should. And then the other one, Benteke, he's in a good matchup as well. I only have Benteke, so I'm playing Benteke. But, yeah, either will work. You know, I don't think you can go wrong with either. I think both will score well. Hell's Real defense. So we talking Columbus? Are we talking Cincy? Because isn't that the derby? Because they're not playing each other. We'll do both. So Columbus, I do have 70% across the board, and I'm probably going to dock Morera a little bit just based on what we got and just, you know, the limited information based on the presser. Camacho will eventually come back. He is close to coming back. We don't know if he'll start. I just don't think he'll start out of the gate. That doesn't really make sense to me, but I've seen crazier things happen. So I am going with the back line of Amundsen, Chaburko, and Morera for now. I think there's a significant chance that Zawadzki starts the right center back and maybe Taha Habrun starts. Meant your backline picks you're putting together. Okay. Yes. Okay. I should have picked up on that. I was just thinking that was a question. Yes, I gotcha. Yeah, good point out there. So I'm just gonna look to see if I have any guys. I already looked, but this would be like my thinking of how I would put this together. All right, do I have any guys based on cost that are 50 or below in a good matchup that would replace Engel here? That's kind of my thinking. You kind of scroll through. Is there anybody that really pops out? You don't want to go too low. Sure, you can play Fagundes, but it's an old season. And again, I want to keep in a little bit of roster flexibility, just so that maybe you can play, somebody else if you want. So I see here Pereira, but he's on the road. You don't love the matchup in Pereira da Costa on the road. Nashville, stingy D for Nashville. So if I would play anybody, it would probably be Pereira da Costa. But is it really worth it? Just based on this, you can play Borsi now, sure. They just don't make sense when you could go with someone else. It just, in theory. Looking at this, could play Moranchuk, could play Miggy, could play several players. I like Miggy, and I like the idea of playing Miggy in that 53 spot. So that kind of just seals the fate of playing Engel here. So you tick off both boxes. Now we have a 60 plus to deal with and pretty much anybody else. So 59-ish with Messi's uncertainty. He'll get in a spot, and then we can kind of spend up how we want to. Benteke makes sense to me. Spending up there for your 67. If I wouldn't go him, then I would probably go elsewhere with, Messi as a throw it together. But I don't want to throw Messi in here to just kind of blow this up. Although Engel, you could argue that Engel being in there, if he doesn't play, it's the same deal. But I think it just makes sense. Can't play any of my 60 plus guys left. So you kind of have to go through here. None of these guys work. I'm not going to replace any of them with Benteke, but I do have the freedom. I can play a classic card. So that opens everybody up. Forsberg on the road. I'm not going to do that. Could play Gazdag if I wanted to. Probably not going to do that. Diego Rossi, sure, could do that. Baribo's in crazy form. There's some good options here. Or I could go like a Miggy and Moranchuk. Stack together with them. Sure, could do that. I could play Ojeda on the road against New York City. Sure, I could do that, right? There's several opportunities here. Chambos. You can have the flexibility to play any of these guys, even Denki if you wanted to have a little bit of angle stacked together with there, hopefully a double decisive. So a lot of possible plays here. And you can really go any way. Like there's the one bad thing about having all these options is just deciding who am I actually going to play. And sometimes some of the guys get buried down here and you have to make sure that you look through to see who am I missing here? Is there a guy that I'm missing that makes sense? Like a guy like Zaha, him being all the way down here just because there's not a lot of data in here. Yes, they're playing Inter Miami, but he could get on the board. And he's a guy that's sub 50 that maybe in another lineup, I play him. Hopefully he gets a decisive. If I can walk away with a 60, I'm happy. That's kind of my thinking. Since you have 3 spots, that makes sense. Makes sense for sure. Chambos feels due. I hope he is. I really hope he is. The set pieces are there for him to take. He just has to get a decisive. I pick Ojeda out of this, but why do you think Messi won't play considering he missed his last 2? And as you said, he probably won't play next game. I think he will play. I do. It's just, I don't know. There's some risk involved. If he doesn't play again, that would be horrendous. And I'd feel like an idiot. And once you get burned a couple times, I am 100% playing him in specialist. I just don't know if I'm playing him in this specialist. Okay. And I don't know if I'm going to actually play this lineup just because I'm likely going to play in-season D1 with my top lineup. And, maybe Schulte is my top goalie for that, which against Houston, he probably is. Benteke, is he one of my top 4s? He could be. But as far as Messi, I just won't play him in-season. He makes a lot of sense to play here. Sure. but I do like Ojeda. New York City, tighter pitch. I just think he's going to get on the board. And that also takes away that in-season. So I couldn't play Messi in that situation. But just for the sake of this, let's throw him in. And let's throw Ojeda in as the other option. But again, you can play this 1,000 different ways, right? And no captain in this, right? I think I saw the roles. So that kind of takes away that, Messi captain situation where he just smashes his face off. But yeah, it's a 76. That's a solid lineup. But what I would do is I would look at this lineup. Then I would honestly look at, okay, if I play D1 in season, if you have an in-season entry, if I play D1, does it make sense to take one of these cards from it if they would make the lineup? If they don't, then you just play the 2 lineups. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I haven't built any lineups, so that's kind of my thinking on that. I know Zaha is going to get in one of them just because that low cap and it kind of works. But yeah, other than that, that's just kind of my thinking. I think that's a solid lineup. I wish I had some of the cheat codes. Like instead of Miggy, I wish I had Espinoza here. I really like Espinoza this week. I'm not going to buy Espinoza just for 1 week, although you can play him all year. His price is just too high right now. I debated on it, but yeah. I feel like the lineup score doesn't account for all the specialist constraints. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. I'm not sure how it works, but yeah, that could be a possibility where, like, obviously I could play better players here, but I didn't. The other combo here, like I said, was Herrera, but then you might have to go lower, and I just don't like the options that I have. But yeah, I think that's, almost went 2 hours. That's fine with me. If you have any questions, maybe rapid fire them here before I hop off here in like a couple minutes. I'll get to updating the Inter Miami lineups, and I will get to building my own lineups. Kind of crazy how many lineups you can put in. I don't have to play limited, which is great. I can actually play all my rare lineups just because I have so many cards for in-season, things like that. So the 3 extra slots this weekend feels nice. And yeah, I hope everyone does well. I hope somebody in this chat wins it. That'd be awesome. Limited, same deal. Big prizes up top. What's better than that? What's better than MLS having multiple nice cash competitions this weekend? So hot dogs or hamburgers? I'm a hamburger guy. Definitely a hamburger guy. Great question. But if you get a good hot dog, like a good chili dog, is really solid. But I'm a big hamburger guy. Yvonne, what's happening? Ordaz or Martinez? So it seems like the rotation would make sense for Ordaz to start. Now, will that make sense? I don't know. Both should get minutes. It should be a like-for-like substitution. 60% on Ordaz, 30% on Martinez, 10% on Under. I put 10% on there just because he joined the team. He got into LA today or yesterday, one or the other. He's not going to start. I wouldn't think, but yeah, I think we do see either some rotation like Yaya Boa back in the lineup. Palencia hasn't rested yet, and this seems like this would be a spot where he could. Yaya Boa is pretty solid. And then the back line is kind of a crapshoot as well. So again, the midweek rotation is absolutely brutal. It's so hard to predict early in the season in general. And then you add in just crazy rotation, and it's just really difficult. So hopefully the DNP bugs stay away from everybody. Aaron, I hope you hit a podium as well. Let's share the love here. Thanks for stopping in. We will catch you back on Monday for more Champions Cup. And hopefully we can share some positive feedback and not just have a bunch of DMPs over the weekend. So hopefully Messi plays this weekend. Hopefully everyone that plays Messi wins all the monies and isn't heartbroken like the last 2 game weeks. So thanks for stopping in, and we will see you next time.